Going on? Ink DFS back here. Welcome back to another installment of my picks. These are my picks for 227-22. I'm trying to run down a couple guys that I really like and end it off with a couple guys that intrigue me. I have about three guys that I'm really interested in. Those are going to be my first three guys. And then I'm going to end it off with two guys who could be some nice GPP guys to play for you. As always, if you like these picks, want to keep seeing me pump these videos out, go ahead and drop a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, helps me out. Help me keep pumping these out. And if you guys want to get in touch with me, go ahead and drop down in the description and follow me on Twitter as well. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started into this. My first pick here, Terry Rozier. Great game environment. Currently tied for the highest over-under in the slate, while Charlotte has the highest team total in the slate. So definitely some points being scored by Charlotte tonight. Really just going to nail down who it is. And in my eyes, it's going to be Terry Rozier. Still without Gordon Hayward. And without Gordon Hayward, Terry's been on the tear. He's been playing at least 36 minutes a game, putting up at least 18 shots, with the proven ability to chip in other stat categories such as rebounding, assisting, and steals and blocks as well. And we saw this a little earlier in the season when he put up a triple double against his very same Detroit team. I know there's a little bit of a blowout concern with this game, but Terry's a little bit of a blowout-proof guy. The last game out against Toronto, they blew him out the water easily, but he still got around 32 minutes that game and still put up near 48 Fanduel points. So definitely a guy who's definitely going to get his in the time allotment that he plays. And there's also a a matchup against a terrible Detroit team. You know, a lot of young guys, a lot of rookies, guys that really aren't that good. So there's a big chance that these guys are going to be turning the ball over, missing shots, opportunities for rebounds. So I like this matchup overall for him. And again, as I previously mentioned, in this very same matchup about a couple weeks ago, he put up 63 points. So definitely has some good history against these guys. My next guy here, Brandon Ingram. Uh, Again, another tight spread, great game environment, the tightest spread on the slate. So this is be a game that should be back and forth all night. So definitely a lot of points to be scored. Has the possibility of going on the over in my eyes. Recently, New Orleans acquired CJ McCollum. And with that acquisition, CJ came in and was taking a bunch of shots, kind of taking over offensively. And that had Brandon Ingram initially struggling. But just recently, they moved Devontae Graham back to the bench, put CJ at point guard, moved Brandon to shooting guard. And that's really revitalized Brandon Ingram a good bit. He's back up to his normal 15 shots per game. I believe he's off of last two games with the since his lineup change, 18 shots and then 21 shots. He's definitely back to his 35 to 40 point range, so he's definitely back to the old Brandon Ingram. And with this price drop down to 7,200, it's kind of disrespectful here. As we can see, even his season average would do great value wise for his salary. So definitely a great bargain down on Brandon Ingram. And as far as the matchup, it's going against an awful Lakers defense. As we know, these guys have been giving up fantasy points all season. And not to mention, they now have a revolving door at shooting guard. The only defensive presence they had there, Avery Bradley, is out. They recently just benched Malik Monk for Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves, kind of a younger guy, rookie coming in, getting his first start against the LA Clippers a couple days ago. And that didn't go so well for him defensively. He led Terrence Mann, of all people, to put up 46 points against them. So if Terrence Mann can put up 46 points against the Lakers, I'm sure Brandon Ingram can top that. And on top of that, the Lakers are already the second best matchup for shooting guards. So definitely a great spot for Brandon Ingram. And for my narrative guys out there, possible revenge spot. As we know, Brandon Ingram got drafted to the Lakers and traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. So maybe he still has a little bit of itch to get back at these guys, if you believe in that sort of thing. Next guy here, Nikola Jokic. We know what we get out of this guy. Walking triple-double every time we see him. I believe last night he just came out for another triple-double, although kind of small. Still a triple-double nonetheless. And definitely has the ability to score the most points on the slate anytime he's on it. Going against Portland tonight, no Yusuf Nurkic for the Blazers. So this is me matched up against Drew Eubanks and Trendon Walford tonight. And that front court duo just allowed Kevon Looney of the Golden State Warriors to put up his senior season average of about 22 points in only 15 minutes. So if Kevon Looney can go out there, who we all know is not a very high productive guy, probably more of a better real life player than fantasy player, if he's able to go out there and put up his season average in just 15 minutes of play time, who can only imagine what Jokic is going to do to these guys? And on top of that matchup, Portland was already terrible defensively against the centers. Already a top 5 matchup for centers, and it only got better without Nurkic. So this guy is just, I believe he's going to be top scorer in this slate easily. And with Jokic, after that triple-double last night, had another price increase, a nice creeping around the 12,000 range. I believe could go under the radar with him being so expensive and not having really any clear value guys. So it might be a little bit of a leverage play as well. All right, so let's conclude my top three guys I'm really in love with. I'm going to end it off here with two guys who I see kind of intrigue me, who could be some GPP guys. So my first one here, Dennis Schroder. We had Kevin Porter Jr. Leave the last game injured, I believe with an ankle injury. He's currently listed as questionable, but he missed practice on Saturday, so not really a good sign. If he were to miss the game, Dennis Schroder would easily slide into the starting spot. Kevin Porter was out 2 games earlier this season, I believe right before the All-Star break, and Dennis Schroder started both of them. In those 2 games, he's averaged 34 minutes and 36 fantasy points. One of those games can be a blowout. One game was pretty close against the Suns. In the game that stayed competitive, he played 38 minutes and scored 44 fantasy points. I believe against the Clippers, who were not really a formidable opponent as far as blowing guys out, and they're not a team that's going to go out there and put up great offensive numbers and also play great defensively and shut their opponents out. But who knows? Even in the blowout game, he still put up 25 minutes and 28 fantasy points, I believe. So definitely will pay off his salary. But this guy is just too good to pass up if he ends up starting tonight. My next intriguing play here to end it all off, we have Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre recently shifted back to the bench. Recently named PJ Washington the starter at power forward, so that slid Miles Bridges to small forward, Kelly Oubre to the bench, and PJ Washington at power forward. Even though with this shift, Kelly Oubre still been getting some good minutes off the bench and some good usage. The past 3 games since this lineup change, he's been averaging 31 minutes and 14 shots a game. So kind of similar to Terry Rozier, going up against a nice matchup against Detroit. Terrible offensively and defensively. So a lot of rebounding opportunities, kind of what Kelly Oubre specializes in. And with his fast pace, a lot of defensive opportunities as well. And if he can rack up a couple steals and a couple blocks, he'll certainly pay off this nice mid-range price tag of 5-1. And again, if this game, as you project, currently with the double-digit spread, if it turns to a blowout, this will only help Kelly Oubre even more. Kind of, getting some more time on the court and put up some more shots. So that's going to end off my guys right there. 5 guys I really like tonight. They'll probably all end up in my lineup, regarding any late news that breaks. But if you guys like these plays, go and drop me down a like below. And again, subscribe to the channel. Helps me and the channel out. And I appreciate it. See you guys again.